The January transfer window is upon us, which means transfer rumours are back. And reportedly, in the last few days, Arsenal have already made their move for Las Palmas attacker Alberto Moleiro. So in today's edition of the Arsenal's Truths, we'll be talking about this Las Palmas player and everything you need to know. Welcome to another vid, and today we're going to be talking about Arsenal's first January signings, as it seems anyway, if we're going to go off the reports. And the player, like I have said, is Moleiro of Las Palmas, a very tricky winger. He's 21 years of age, market value of around 20 million, and he seems to have a lot of potential. He can play off the left, he can play centrally, and he can play off the right as well, as shown. So we're going to sort of analyze him from two different games, maybe three. I'll see if I have time. We're going to look at the Barcelona game and the Real Madrid game, and potentially the one he played against Liverpool, and see what he did good in, what he did bad in, and really critically analyze him. We're going to start with the Real Madrid game, and the first thing I pointed out from the clips kindly presented by Red London on YouTube is that Moleiro has the instinct to go inside once he plays a pass. And okay, maybe this is okay at times, but I feel like a team like Arsenal, where the middle of the pitch is really congested at times, it can be quite a poor trait to have. This is probably due to the fact that he's more comfortable playing inside the pitch in the 10 role, so drifting out wide, playing out wide like he has done for most of this season isn't natural to him. So his first instinct is, I'm going to receive this ball, then I'm going to play a ball inside, or I'm going to drive inside. But in the Premier League, as we have seen, the middle of the pitch is so congested, and sometimes we need that width. So maybe for a team like Arsenal, maybe a big con there. But, I like the positivity in some of his drives. As you see, when he does get that ball, he's really positive. Even if he's dipping inside, he's always looking to create some sort of havoc, which is obviously a good thing, because we need more tricky, sort of players ready to take on their man like Saka in the squad. One thing I did really like, though, against Real Madrid was his combination play. I know I've said many times him dipping inside too much isn't going to really help us as a team, because we already have a lot of players who like to do that. But he really does know how to connect with the other players. And I can see him bouncing off a Havertz. I can see him bouncing off, an Ødegaard as well in those central zones too. I can really see him being great in those combination sort of zones. And I liked his goal against Real Madrid, which I'll now show. It was a really good goal, getting into a really nice position, linking with McBurney, and also the tight control and the feet inside the box. For me, this shows, Trossard vibes. Leandro Trossard is one of the best players at manipulating the ball in the 6-yard area, in the box. He's really nifty with his feet, and then also having the ability to get off a powerful shot is so underrated from Trossard. I feel like Moleiro has those traits, so he almost, for me, is a player who would come in and replace a Trossard rather than come in, be a starter. There's a lot for him to improve on, but this is what I really like from him against Real Madrid. He would combine well with others, and it was a really good finish. I'll have a look at his heat map from the game against Real Madrid. And as you can see, look at him centrally. He was playing as a left winger, but he's just so prone to coming inside, covering those central areas, receiving in those central areas, linking up in those central areas. And I know I've said earlier, it's not really what we need in the Arsenal team right now. We need less of the combination players and more of the direct 1v1 wingers, but he isn't the quickest player, so this is where his game sort of thrives. So this is why I've said he's more of a Trossard replacement, and his versatility to play 8, to play left wing, to play right wing is always going to be a good thing for us. But yeah, in terms of his heat map, you can see very central, sort of base. Have a look at his performance against Barcelona. Obviously, this game was a lot different. There was a lot of, opportunities for him to drive the ball, and I was actually pretty impressed with him. I thought he actually put up a really nice display. Actually, I do want to look at his central dribbles and his central carries. As you can see, there will be clips where you can see him drifting past 3 or 4 players, getting high up the pitch. Would I say ball carrying is one of his greatest traits? No, but you can just tell he's so natural in those central areas. He's just a much better dribbler from those central zones, and when he's out wide 1v1, you can't really expect him to beat his man, and it's no sort of shade on him, but for the sort of player we need, I don't feel like he fits the bill. He'll be a very good Trossard sort of replacement, but as much as a 1v1 dribbler goes, it's not one of his best traits. But he really does like to combinate with other players. He really is confident carrying from those central zones, and there's something for Arteta to work with. I feel like, the sort of player we could maybe make him into is, maybe an Eden Hazard from a central area. I don't feel like out wide he has the running power or the strength in those duels to be able to be as good a dribbler as Hazard was, but he has the body type to be able to create the ball, protect the ball and create opportunities, which I mean, any club would want an Eden Hazard sort of winger, but under Arteta, I feel like that's best in terms of his development for the future. Again, let us look at the raw stats from the game, and firstly, we're going to look at that heat map. And as you can see from those central zones, Moleiro is heavily involved. Again, a game where he was, sort of starting off the left wing, but again, his natural instinct is to come inside. And I know this video is starting to sound like I do not rate him at all, but that is not the case. I do feel like he has raw traits which will be very useful. I feel like he'll be a player who can maybe give us respite in games, draw fouls due to the way he can protect the ball at times. But in terms of low blocks against those teams that like to sit back from those wide areas, I don't feel he'll be effective. And for the 50 million fee that Arsenal are reportedly about to sign him for, do I think his current traits are worth it from central zones? No, and that's no shade at him at all. There's a lot there, but it's going to take a lot of work to be able to make him into a world-class sort of player. But there is talent there, and the heat maps always suggest, they always show you something about a player's game and what he wants to be doing and how he wants to be in those central zones. But in the Premier League, we've seen the space isn't there. You've already got Odegaard, Marino in those zones, Declan Rice. We see already that they can sort of step on each other's toes at times. So do we want another player like that? Maybe as an impact player like a Trossard. Then again, who am I to doubt Arteta if he really wants him? Now let's look at those stats in terms of the 90 minutes he played. Really, really good in there. 11 out of 15 accurate passes. He is a really accurate passer. 31 touches, 1 key pass. 9 out of 16 ground duels won again. He really can be influential in those duels, which Arteta would love to see. And obviously a good defensive stats as well. 4 tackles, 1 interception. I didn't show it, but he does have the ability to come back and defend, which Arteta is going to really, really like. And, there's stuff to work with Moleiro. Would I say he's a 50 million player right now? No. But does he have the potential to be a really useful player in the Trossard role in terms of coming into games, impacting games, drawing fouls? Yes, he would be at 21, 20 years old, a good player to replace Trossard, who is getting older. I wanted to leave this to the last because it's one of my biggest pet peeves when a striker or a forward does not have this, and it's Moleiro's ball striking. He really does know how to strike a ball, either cutting inside on his left foot. That is one of the things that maybe Arteta would purely want to sign him off of, because he can really, really manipulate the ball in a way which gets a lot of power, a lot of accuracy. And that's what you need, in those tight games. You're looking at the Everton game, that we drew 0-0 with. We're looking at other games this season where we just haven't had enough to break the deadlock. One piece of brilliance from your winger, from your central midfielder, from anybody in there with a strike can win you a game. And I don't feel like any player outside of Saka really has the ability to hammer a ball into the top corner. Partey, we've seen it at times. Declan Rice, more at West Ham, he had the ability to do that. Odegaard, his shooting boots haven't been here this season. So signing someone like Moleiro, who has the ball striking ability to cut inside, whip it into the corner, left foot as well on the outside, can be really, really useful. And maybe we are underestimating the 50 million could come from that. But anyway, goodness, that is it for now. Hope you have enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts on this new Moleiro signing. Are you happy with it? Are you not happy with it? And until next time, peace.